All right, everybody. Now, I know that the immediate thought coming into this right off the bat is going to be an assumption that I just want to talk about Mr. Beast to get that sweet, sweet Mr. Beast SEO boost on the video. But while that is partially true, I do like talking about Mr. Beast because it does lead to a pretty well-performing video, to be fair. However, it's not just that. This story in particular really did resonate with me, and it's less so that I want to talk about Mr. Beast, but a topic related to him that using a story about him is a really good sort of segue into that topic. You see, right now, there's a lot of discussion around this recent Polygon article called The End of the Mr. Beast Era, a very clickbaity and, like, incendiary title, but the actual article itself is basically a sort of investigation into Mr. Beast. They didn't, like, contact Mr. Beast or interview him or anything. They just had, like, a reporter go super deep into watching a lot of Mr. Beast content over the course of the years, and a lot of interviews with him, and a lot of, like, his posts and all that, and basically write a breakdown of what their opinion is on Mr. Beast, and like, his effect on YouTube. And the general sentiment is that Mr. Beast represents, and I don't necessarily disagree with this, the general sentiment is something that this isn't anything new, but it's basically that Mr. Beast represents the corporatization of YouTube. The stripping away of the personality, individuality, and character that used to make successful name YouTubers, that you just, household name YouTubers, so unique and stand out. There was a time when the biggest YouTubers were those with the most unique personalities and way of presenting their content and entertainment value. But now, with Mr. Beast, he's essentially proven, and this is not me insulting him, this is me quoting him, that removing all form of personality and individuality from your content to give it the broadest appeal possible, making it essentially indistinguishable from, like, AI clickbait content with samey thumbnails and samey titles that are just meant to, like, perfectly align with what will get the most views. It's both an art, but it's also the best way to go about attaining success on YouTube. Now, the video goes on to basically repeat something that, or not the video, I keep saying video on accident. The article goes on to repeat something that, to be completely honest with you all, I feel Jacksepticeye said best a little while ago. This clip went viral and caused a big controversy when it first came out, but, like, what he said here wasn't even all that serious. This is from when Jacksepticeye did a lie detector test.
Now, Jack, a completely unrelated question. Do you like Mr. Beast?
No.
Jack, do you think Mr. Beast ruined YouTube?
Yes.
Now, in all honesty, Jack, why?
Because it became more about views, money, and popularity than it did about having fun.
You just don't think you had fun playing Squid Games? You don't think you had fun riding on yachts? Building wells in Africa? I don't know.
If he had fun doing those videos, they'd be longer. We'd see the fun.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to get me
that one, didn't you? Who's the YouTuber you hate the most?
I don't know. There's a lot of...
So, that was basically a good sort of packaging up of, like, the general sentiment of this article in a single, like, less than a minute long clip. So there's not really much need to go down and read the entire article. I have read it. I've also listened to, I believe it was Philip DeFranco cover it. Nothing in here is all that big, worth talking about. What I want to talk about is how disappointed I am in this article and how it tackles the problem. The way it frames this issue is as a Mr. Beast issue. They claim that Mr. Beast, if not pioneered, at least, like, popularized this era of, like, soulless corporatization of YouTube content. But the fact is, as someone who has watched YouTube since the very, very beginning, pretty much, that has been going on since roughly 2013. The idea that this started with Mr. Beast is absurd. Where I would argue it really started was with the inception of the cringe content schlock Minecraft kids content channels. These started to really blow up back during 2013, 2014 with like the Minecraft school roleplay and the Minecraft cops and robbers stuff, just like the algorithm drivel bait. From there, we ended up getting like Cocomelon. And from there, we've had, like, the AI-generated scam content and stuff like that. Like, the idea that YouTube has slowly gotten more and more... Or the idea that, Mr. Beast started this, like, weird way of making, like, shameless clickbait content that's, like, very soulless. It's kind of ridiculous when you consider the fact that that started, in my memory at least, when I was in middle school, right? Like, it's kind of ridiculous to me to claim that Mr. Beast kind of started this whole thing. And the big question is, why is Mr. Beast like this? Why does Mr. Beast make this type of content? I mean, if we go to his channel right now, for example, and I'm not trying to shit talk Mr. Beast, but there is plenty to criticize here. So if we look at Mr. Beast's channel, you can see there's a very, like, corporate, clean presentation to everything. And this style of title and thumbnail has basically become the standard to use on YouTube, because you know it's the best because Mr. Beast has whole teams whose job it is to find out and know and constantly keep him updated on what is the best way to go about making the most effectively performing YouTube videos. Now, here's the core of all of this. I have a list of podcasts that I watch just to have some background noise while I game. One of them is PKA. And Mr. Beast has gone on PKA, as well as numerous other podcasts, and explained his financial strategy. How much do you guys want to bet Mr. Beast has in savings? I'm not going to wait for a response. It's practically nothing. Mr. Beast is practically nothing in savings, because nearly 100% of the money he has left over from what he needs to survive, house payment, car, groceries, that kind of thing, is reinvested into the next video, or the next project, or his other business or venture. Money he's making off of merch, off of ads, off of everything. The Mr. Beast Burger, Feastables, all of it is being funneled in to make more videos. And it's not just that it's being funneled in to make more videos, it's being funneled in to make more high-budget videos. The ideas in his mind, he has gone on to say this, the ideas have to get crazier and crazier and crazier every time, or people will get bored and stop watching. So the videos have to keep making more and more and more and more money, otherwise he won't have enough money to pay for the next crazier idea he needs for the next video. And all the while, he's putting nothing into savings. He's talked about how YouTube has basically trained him to become, and he does not recommend living like this, a unthinking, unfeeling automaton of YouTube content creation. He goes on to talk about how when he goes on a date, he feels like he's wasting time and money because the time he spends on a date is like potentially $100,000 he's losing out on because that time could have been spent on a YouTube video that would have made like nearly $1 million in cumulative revenue over time. So like time is literally money to him. And for many people, many jobs, the more you work, like you're not really making much more money the more you work. Like maybe you work some overtime, that's nice and all, but is working overtime generally worth the extra effort of the more work? Depends on your situation. For Mr. Beast, he does not, to survive, need to work more. He is dedicated to just keeping the grind going so he can keep on growing and being successful and being the top of the totem pole. And to be fair, for as much as that may be an unhealthy perspective, all the while he is doing his part in he's supporting his trans friend and standing by her and refusing to step down or back down and like give in to the transphobic mob that went after him. He's massively philanthropic and has made a shitload of content where he has objectively helped tens of thousands of people, I would estimate, living in like the developing world get access to things like electricity, clean drinking water, running water, appliances, good shelter, educations, etc. Like, Mr. Beast is doing a lot of good. Let's not fool ourselves here. But the one bad thing that this article attributes to him is the idea that he set the standard for this type of way of handling YouTube. The turning it into your life and no-lifing it. The fact is, just because Mr. Beast has become the most outspoken and popular to talk about this being what he does, that does not mean it is a Mr. Beast thing or that he started it. The fact is that since the first YouTube adpocalypse, the meta has been that the only way to survive on YouTube, depending on how large you are and how substantially supportive of an audience you have, is to play the numbers game. Quantity over quality. It is why since the first adpocalypse, famously, YouTube animation channels have suffered the most, because they upload high-quality videos at a very low frequency, meaning that the way that you have to monetize on YouTube now to make a living wage off of the platform, it's practically impossible now. It's why so many of those animation YouTubers drop their animation quality. There's less frames, there's less coloring, and all the while they're able to upload more, but, you know, many of them have hired teams to help them animate. It's not just them animating anymore. And that's not, like, a bad thing on their part morally. It's just a clear sign that YouTube itself as a platform has changed. And the fact is, if you've spent the last 4 or 5 years doing YouTube as a job, it is a little bit scary, the prospect of, like, having to go back into the normal workspace to become, like, a normal worker again, if that's the way it goes. So frankly, for a lot of currently active YouTubers, you gotta go the numbers route. Even for Mr. Beast, the way he got that big is keeping up with the numbers. He checks all the boxes for viral success online. He's turned it into a science, into a math equation that he fills in all the blanks every time and he gets it right. And you know, 100 million view video after a year is a bomb video on his channel that didn't do well. So, like, it's less so that Mr. Beast is encouraging this practice, it's that YouTube encourages this extremely unhealthy, unsustainable practice. And Mr. Beast recognizes that, has basically agreed, okay, my life to YouTube, my life for content. And because people see Mr. Beast's success, they imitate it. This article seems to interpret that as Mr. Beast popularizing and pioneering this trend of no-lifing content unhealthily. The fact is, for most middle to, like, smaller content creators that do YouTube for a living, keeping up with the quantity aspect of things and making your life all about content is the only way to survive on the platform. For Mr. Beast, it's his way of thriving. It's how he thrives. But for most content creators, it's how they survive. Mind you, YouTube offers no benefits. We don't have any insurance paid for by Google. We don't get any, like, severance pay or, like, unemployment or any, like, benefits of any kind. We get paid in ad revenue, whatever our fans donate to us through YouTube, and that's it. And not only that, but there are absolutely no limitations on YouTube to just, for any reason, decide to axe your entire account and nuke your career overnight. I could wake up tomorrow morning to YouTube having mistakenly striked my channel 3 times, my channel getting deleted, and I'd have no recourse. My recourse would be filling out job applications. Like, that's the life of content creators on YouTube, and Mr. Beast knows that. Obviously, in his position, he's very unlikely to have to deal with a problem like that, but it would still hurt if he got, like, a false strike on YouTube, and it was a mistake on YouTube's end, and his channel was unviewable for 12 hours or something. Or even 3 hours. It would be a big deal for him. He'd lose out on a lot of viewership. It would hurt his career. Like, he'd probably go on podcasts and talk about how, like, that 1 3-hour gap where his channel was, like, gone from the website, he lost, like, you can see the spike down and it's never recovered, you know, that kind of thing. The system is so broken, and the content creators are so forced to always be working because the platform provides you no support. Like, YouTube, it doesn't matter how much money you have in savings. If you take, say, a month off as a break from YouTube and you come back, good fucking luck on getting even a majority of your audience back once you've returned. People on the internet will drop you after, like, a week of not uploading, depending on how, like, you know, fleeting of a content creator you are. In my case, I'm quite lucky to have some pretty long-standing, long-term fans, but, like, most content creators don't have that privilege. They've got people who will legitimately stop watching them forever if they stop uploading for a week. Hell, if their videos stop showing up in their recommendeds for a week. So, yeah. I'm not even kidding when I advocate for greater government intervention. I genuinely do think YouTube, like, or Google owes YouTubers some level of, like, rights and protection around the stability of our jobs as content creators. But at the end of the day, this is a Google problem, not a MrBeast problem. MrBeast just recognizes the game that he's playing and has agreed to the terms. Just because he is doing the best and succeeding because of that does not mean he has created that problem or trained YouTube to behave that way. MrBeast has learned how YouTube works and is behaving how YouTube wants us to behave. The fact that, like, journalists are seeing how MrBeast lives his life and saying, man, that's unhealthy as fuck. Jesus Christ. This is like borderline, like, working yourself to death. It's like, yeah, this is how YouTube expects you to operate if you want to succeed or even survive on their platform. All of us have to do this if we want to get by. Not if we want to succeed, if we want to get by. And that's why this Polygon article kind of upsets me a little bit, because it misses that fundamental core point that Google and YouTube are the fault here. They are the problem here. They are the ones making all these content creators work themselves to an early grave for the hope of financial stability, not MrBeast. MrBeast has just figured out how YouTube wants us to be, and he's doing it.